It's a really cool feature. It makes you feel so darn important. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's Rowdy.com Big Three with the sweaterless Dianne Gallagher.
I did. Had a last-minute wardrobe change.
The first lady of Rowdy. My name is Bass Masters. We're talking NASCAR. And Dianne, we actually had some issues today to talk about, so we don't have to make stuff up like we do oftentimes, because there was a rumor that Joe Gibbs Racing is considering a crew chief swap and taking Mike Ford from Denny Hamlin and Greg Cibadelli from Joey Logano and flipping them. What do you think about this?
Well, the switcheroo, before we started worse rumor, it's just been reported on one outlet.
Right.
So it's not like a rumor, but it's an interesting idea. I don't know. I feel like Denny and Zippy together might be phenomenal. Denny almost won last year. He's proved he's a championship caliber driver.
Yep.
Zippy is. I mean, he has the credentials to back it up. Neither Mike nor Zippy are doing much right now with their current drivers, so perhaps a little shake-up might do well.
It's interesting that when you think about Joey Logano in this, you think about Denny Hamlin, obviously, primarily, but then you start thinking about Joey Logano, and this is a guy a lot of us thought would have a breakout season this year. But he hasn't. A large
24th right now?
Part of he's 24th the points, exactly. And a large part of that may be bad luck, but that gives the team, I think, an opportunity to consider a swap, because you're not taking anything away from Joey for this season. I mean, I do feel like it's probably a lost season for Joey as far as making the chase. It becomes another learning season for Joey.
Yeah, I was going to say nothing against Joey.
For Denny Hamlin and Richmond, it becomes that much more important than for the Mike Ford-Denny Hamlin combination, if they're considering this. But it's just a rumor.
Since the taping of this segment, a spokesman for Joe Gibbs Racing has denied the team will be swapping crew chiefs. Please consider the preceding discussion a valuable NASCAR thought experiment. We now return you to today's Big Three.
Entonces esta noticia es, una persona por Joe Gibbs Racing dice que este falso cambia de equipo. Porque si esta discusión es el experimento de NASCAR muy importante, Ana, tres grandes.
Issue number 2, Denny's teammate, Kyle Busch, came out yesterday wearing a white hat in Charlotte here to promote the All-Star race and said kind of directly, really, I'm tired of being such the bad boy all the time. What do you think about this, Dianne? Kyle Busch, good guy? That just doesn't seem right.
Well, I'm glad you agree with me, because I don't think it does seem right, and I think it's pointless. I really do. I don't know. I feel like he was just fine the way he was, and I don't understand if this is just if it's a PR move because he's trying to sort of reach out to a different group of fans to get him that way, or if he legitimately thinks that by putting on a white hat and being good Kyle, he's going to race better. But I think he races just fine the way that he is. I do. Obviously,
isn't it though human nature to want people to like you, not hate you?
I think people love to hate him, and I think that
maybe he doesn't love to be hated so much.
I don't know if people are going to,
because I agree with you in one sense that Kyle Busch has a connection with his fans because of the way he drives and the fact that he says what's on his mind, and sometimes he's very emotional and sometimes he's very frustrated,
and he has a very
young
he
lets you know.
base of fans.
I agree.
Who are, I think, going to feel very betrayed if all of a sudden Kyle makes all these personal life changes and then is a different guy on the track. He's not the same Rowdy Busch that they wanted to come see. He's not the same bad Kyle. You know, they like him for that. That's how he earned a lot of those fans.
I agree. But if you want to win a championship, you have got to not be bad all the time, because you make enemies.
Yeah, you're
what
a
happened
good
last
driver.
Year's chase? He got wrecked by David Rudiman because David Rudiman was an enemy, because David Rudiman thought Kyle was a bad dude. That cost Kyle points. And what will make Kyle Busch fans the happiest of all? If Kyle wins the championship. So I think a little bit of good Kyle is required on the racetrack. I don't know about the public image, but on the racetrack, I think a little bit of good Kyle is a good idea.
I don't think that it was Kyle's good. I don't think it was good Kyle or bad Kyle that stood in the way of Kyle winning a championship. I think it was Jimmy Johnson that stood in the way of Kyle winning a championship.
But Kyle didn't finish second. Kyle didn't finish third.
He's going to win a championship at some point.
As long as there's a little bit of good Kyle in the mix. Issue number 3. Tommy Baldwin.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, that's fine. Tommy Baldwin Racing, has been operating his race team for 2-3 years, and it's been a struggle. He's been starting and parking a lot. Nobody really likes to do that, and a lot of fans, especially if they're not pure race fans, but fans of other sports, will say, this is really weird. A guy comes in to race, and he doesn't race. He just pulls off the track and parks. Yeah. But yesterday, Tommy Baldwin announced a sponsorship package that will let him race, we think, for the rest of this season, thus validating the argument that starting and parking is a way to just to stay alive until you can get real sponsorship money. Does it validate that argument?
Golden Corral, Big Red Soda,
and a cell construction.
Yes.
Well done.
And so, legitimate, yes.
Does it make you feel better about the starting parks?
No. No.
You don't like the starting parks?
No, I don't. I don't know. It's the exception to the rule. You know, we talked about this earlier. I think 90% of these guys who come out here and start in park, I mean, this is a fairy tale. It really is. I mean, this is a fairy tale. He finally got it. It isn't typical.
Just go ahead, ask me. He's not going to win.
I thought that this was his dream come true. Do you think his dream was just to race? His dream isn't to win?
He's probably got more than
short-sighted?
He's got more than one dream, Diane. The first dream is to actually be able to race. He's going to get to do that. I agree with you. Look, most start and park situations don't work out. And if by work out you mean he goes from start and parking all the way to championship contender, I think that's
never
going to happen. Okay? But if you want to be a full-time Cup team and you start and park and get sponsorship, that is a win. I mean, that is a big-time win for Tommy Baldwin Racing, and I feel good about it. And call me a romantic, Diane.
Because it's money?
Yes, but he can race, and you need money to race, and I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport that he got sponsorship because it's tough to get sponsorship these days, especially if you're really not going to perform out there on the racetrack. I'll be interested to see what he can do, and I feel good for Tommy Baldwin.
What do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to run about 30th every week.
I have nothing
But he's going to race and finish the races.
You think so?
I don't think he's going to start and park anymore. I think he's going to race.
At all? No more?
Well, maybe here and there. All right, that has been your Rowdy.com Big 3 for today. For Dianne Gallagher, my name is Bass Masters. Do join us at Rowdy.com. Diane's on the podcast today, so you definitely want to listen to that, too.
Listen to it.
She gives me even more grief on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, bye-bye.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.